Hello, hello, hello. This is Feeder Master Charles Galofre, and I'd like to welcome you to this video on Fischer's greatest games. The following video is a game where Fischer has the black pieces and he's playing Rene Letelier Martiner. I really do not understand. I don't know where this guy is from, but anyway, Rene started off with d4, knight f6, c4. I just went up the stairs and it looks like I'm having a heart attack. g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, and castle. This is a very hyper-modern way of playing the King's Indian. I mean, it's not like it's a special variation or anything, but it's basically inviting white to play e5. This game is a perfect mono game to learn how to play versus the specific move order by white. e5, knight to e8, f4. And so the big question is, you know, is this an overwhelming advantage for white, or is it a disadvantage? Because obviously these pawns are going to end up being a target for black's pieces, and we're going to see how Fischer does that. d6, bishop e3, and c5. And he basically already began undermining the center. Pawn takes c5, and knight to c6. Brilliant way of playing chess. I mean, it's poetic, basically. c takes d6, e takes d6, and now knight to e4. And this is a huge mistake because he's moving the same piece twice in the opening. And as we know, chess, there's something called the equilibrium in chess. You have to keep the equilibrium in the position. You have to develop pieces in a timely fashion. And when you're moving the same piece over and over again, you could have, you know, you're going to have to deal with the consequences. So now Fischer plays bishop to f5 in a very fast fashion, attacking the knight and sacrificing the pawn on d6. Here he plays knight to g3, but if knight takes pawn, knight takes knight, queen takes queen, queen takes knight, queen takes queen, pawn takes, bishop takes b2, the bishops are basically harassing the queen side, and white is going to have a lot of problems here due to black's activity on the queen side. For instance, rook to d1, and now a simple move like knight to b4 is more than enough compensation. So going back, after knight takes d6, bishop f5, knight g3, bishop e6, knight f3, queen c7, and now queen b1. It's a very mysterious move. The idea was to basically stay away from knight to b4 tricks, and he had this idea of when black captures on e5 to push f5. And so let's see how that turns out for him. Pawn takes e5, f5, threatening the bishop, but of course Fischer, who is a brilliant, who's basically a chess genius, he came up with this quote when you would ask him, you know, what is chess? He'd always say chess is timing. And here, versus f5, he decided to play e4, opening the lines for his pieces, more importantly for his very strong King's Indian bishop on g7. Pawn takes bishop, pawn takes knight, removing defenders from the king's side. Pawn takes pawn, and now a brilliant dynamic move, f5. Instead of capturing the pawn, he decides to threaten to fork a piece. f4, knight f6, bishop e2, rook to e8, king to f2, rook takes pawn, rook to e1, rook a to e8, bishop f3, and now a beautiful combination ends the game. Rook takes bishop, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, king takes rook, and now could you see the winning move? Fischer played the very shocking queen takes f4 check, and he won the game.